What's going on, guys? This is TM25MD, and this will be a Team Wars video. This is the last week of Team Wars. Reason why I didn't really upload this past couple of weeks, maybe even a month, probably a month, is you guys probably know it's the school and the course load that comes with it, but I really haven't been that motivated to play ladder. Just running into pretty much 60% of my games, 60 to 75% of my games have been against Vitruvian. And the one time I decided to record a live, I played 4 Vitruvians in a row, all the same deck. 4 different players, same deck, and I won 3 of them out of the 4, and the one I lost was to triple Blood of Air, double Sandswirl Reader, triple Dream Shaper, triple Bone Swarm. And granted, that's like a pretty big outlier, high rolling from the start. Oh, and he also played 2 Lost in the Desert, and I could have won. I was playing an Abyssian list. I could have won because I set him up for. I had a Void Pulse in my hand. He had 8 health. And I was like, I have 3 Revenants. I just draw 1. It's 9 mana already. I should win. Wasn't able to find one Revenant, not even through Mulligan or Replace, despite playing like 2 Sphere of Darkness and some other draws. And granted, that's like a really big outlier, but the other 3 games were very similar. 2-ish, 1-2 Blood of Air, 1-2 Sand Swirls, a Lost in a Desert, a bunch of Golems, Bone Swarms, and what have you. Top of Falcius as well. So it was just like trying to execute your strategy, trying to be proactive while keeping in mind what my opponent can play. Was just not the greatest. But anyways, I'll talk more about it. But this is Team Wars. This is the last week. My team is actually in playoffs, so I think win or lose this match, I don't think it mattered because I think we were already in. But anyways, the reason why I didn't really record the previous weeks is because I didn't really play. I played like 1 game, and either Zabiel or Mr. Mana went like 5-0 or 6-0, so they didn't really need me anyway. So, anyways, now I actually had played a lot of games this week, so I'll just showcase my games to keep this video relatively short. As you see, I haven't been playing much. It's already, I think it's like March 26th. My birthday's in 2 days, so hype, I guess. Yeah, I haven't played that much ladder, as you can see. It's maybe 2 games a day, if that. Some days I didn't even play. I play a little bit today, but let me see if I can find it. Where was it? Okay, we start here. Obviously, you know the results, but playing against Icy Fire's team, Icy Fire 95's team. Maybe I should show you. Actually, we'll go back out of this. I should show you what deck I was using first, so you get an idea of what I'm playing going into it. 2 Blood Tier Alchemists. This is like a mid-range Fae. It's not a burn Warbird Fae or whatever you want to call it. There's no Chromatic Holds. There's no, which is that, I'll touch on that a little bit. There's no Flame Blood Warlocks, no Concealing Shrouds, because I value minions rather than spells, as you can notice, especially in a mid-range list. 30 minions, 9 spells. Healing, right? Aspect of Shimzar, obviously, since we are running Thunderhorn, and this can also work with Purgatos, right? So also on 6 mana, if you don't happen to have a Thunderhorn or you used it, Aspect of Shimzar, Purgatos, and that can either heal you for 3 or deal 3 damage, which is pretty impactful, honestly. Some matches it's really good. Some matches is just terrible. So, like, for example, Lionar, Zoran. I would never play this because Zoran can always just kill it with Sunrisers, right? It's pretty easier for her to get 2 procs off, whereas the Thunderhorn will have will survive on 1 health. So, yeah, but in it's also not really that good in Magmar, Natural Selection, Plasma Storm, etc. But it's actually not bad against Vitruvian. Abyssian, it's decent. Songhai, it's great too. forces them to use other sorts of removal on it because it has 4 health. So survives, you know, Phoenix Fire and Cobra Strikes. So those are pretty good. I also touched on the new Trials of Mythron expansion, which comes out I think this week or next week. Because I think the Team Wars this week is using the new cards. So I'll do a full set review. I don't really believe in just doing unit analysis like when the card's announced, because one, rotations are coming out, so Shimzar's going out, and we don't have the full set, so it's like, why would I even talk about it? Like, I can give like initial thoughts, but you're not getting the full value of an analysis if you're just looking at it from a preliminary standpoint. So that's just me. Though I do like Tactical Gamer's analysis, because I think he does say, like, I can't go further on this card because we don't have the full set, we don't know what's coming out, so it remains to be seen how good this card will be, right? So I respect that kind of analysis, right? But anyways, getting sidetracked. Anyways, this deck, Lechi Alchemists is pretty good for trading and pings. Herald for healing, Cryptographers because we are running Mentor, so that can give us, you know, potentially 4 extra burst damage, 6 if you include the Bloodbound spell you'll have next turn. Frigid Corona because this card's annoying and it's never bad, right? Draw a card, stun general or enemy, right? Hailstone Prison, actually, this is pretty nice, right? This is actually very impactful in the early to mid game, right? So if your opponent ramps onto 4 mana and gets a Thunderhorn, you can develop and just send it back to his hand, which is actually pretty good in my opinion. It also works very well in the late game. Your opponent drops like a big thing in your face, like an Elmira healer, and you just need that extra bit of damage. Like you have 1 to 2 Warbirds in hand or something, right? And you just need to get a punch in. Hailstone Prison is easy to get that big minion out of the way and go in for the kill, right? So it's not all on your Heart Sisters, right? So, and plus the Heart Sister can body block yourself, right? If your opponent positions correctly, right? So Hailstone Prison is very powerful. No Chromatic Colds because the deck does run EMP. I think Chromatic Cold's a little bit awkward for this style of list. If I was playing like a ramp list, then of course I would include Chromatic Cold. But it'll be interesting to see how the new expansion and with Aspect of Shimzar being rotated out. It'll be interesting. I don't want to say this is the replacement because people will probably go back to Aspect of the Ravager or Aspect of the Fox for those that's played the game long enough. Yeah, so it'll be interesting how Hailstone Prison is incorporated. I know CD did very well in a Duelyst melee. I think he won it with an Arcanist Kara and no Chromatic Colds, just Hailstone Prisons. And he did very well with that. So very underrated card in my opinion. Moonlit Basilisk, this is great against Songhai. Since we are playing Team Wars, which means we will encounter one, potentially, if you do well, you will encounter every faction. So, and you have to win 6 games in order to win the week. So, Moonlit Basilisk does very well against the Abyssian matchups. Forces them to use that punish. Otherwise, which means they don't have as much answers for, you know, Dancing Blades, Thunderhorn, EMP, other minions, right? So it's very good against Abyssian, it's very good against Songhai. It just all around does well. So the only cards that in Songhai can deal with it would be Eternity Painter and Onyx Bear Seal, Bamboozle, but you have to get in close. So if you can't get your general near this thing, then you're pretty much limited to 2 cards. Lightbender is another card that can deal with it, for sure. But generally it's pretty good in those matchups specifically. Already mentioned Purgato, Spelljammer for some card draw. Should we like burn our hand early with a bunch of smaller minions, right? Thunderhorn, we already needs no explanation. Just all around a fantastic 4-drop, even better in Vanar. Best in Vitruvian, obviously. So, Dancing Blades, I think this is a very strong pick since this is mid-range list and we're looking to keep up a tempo. This is like tempo mid-range, I don't know what you want to call it. The tempo is very good with Dancing Blades, very underrated card. There are some situations where this is better, and you'll see it in the replays today, but this is better than like something like Lava Slasher, specifically against Thunderhorn, and I think I showed that in one of the games today. And then EMPs, because this is a big minion, does pretty well. At any point in the stage, like in the late game, whenever you drop it, it's always going to make an impact. I don't think I've ever seen a really bad EMP. I've seen bad EMPs, like premature EMPs, but I don't think I've ever seen like a bad EMP. This card's just really good, so it's like Thunderhorn. You can't go wrong playing it, right? So that's the list, and it's done pretty well so far for me, actually. Mainly in Team Wars, but yeah. Anywho, yeah, we start here. Icy Fire and their team. They're a little salty because us winning the week means that they weren't able to make playoffs, and they're complaining about the RNG Purgatos got. And as you can see, this guy's list, he actually beat Zabiel on a 2 in 7, so that's, I don't even know, 2 out of 7. That's very low. I think that's like 30%, 30 something percent. Keeper into Mccanter. I won't even, it might have been even 2 out of 8 actually, but 2 out of 7 to give him, you know, a little bit better luck. Yeah, that's like, actually that's not even 30%. I think that's like 28%. 28 or 31%. But anyways, it was a very low odds. It wasn't a favorable odd, and he got it and won that way. So I was up next anyways. Erratic Raptor. Positioned my Thunderhorn here, so if he wants to take this tile, I can do some nice shenanigans. And if he wants to play something like Lava Slasher, I can just punch it, play my own minion, kill it, stun this, play an Azure Herald, right? That's, you know, pretty much what I do. So stun the Raptor. There's no reason to stun Voth at this point, and I get rid of a Bloodbath Mentor because I would rather see that in the late game. It's too early for that now, especially against Magmar, which has access to Earth Spheres. So using early Bloodbound Mentors on potential Plasma Storms, I feel like I can get more value out of it in the late game. So I tend to replace Cryptographer and Bloodbound Mentor if I have, you know, better cards in my hand that I know I'll play and will make more of an impact or have a decent impact in the early mid game. Because I know in the late game, Bloodbound Mentor is very strong, right? So he uses a Homeostatic Rebuke, gets rid of my board, and kind of interesting actually, because that means I just get to kill his Raptor for free. So I'd take that trade pretty well. So I couldn't really play around Mccanter, so I was like, just might as well get some damage on him and force him to heal, right? Take a slow turn, use an Earth Sphere, because that was where I managed, because I was up on health and he punched me. Not the greatest idea, especially against Faye. Voth is actually more fragile than you think. Yeah, this is a Mccanter, so he's opting for damage, which is fine by me, but this is the distance I wanted already. Beating Voth means I need to get distance between us, and him playing that Mccanter and backing off means I got it. So this is an easy Dancing Blades Warbird play for me. Reason why I play Warbird now, because I want to have the option of playing EMP next turn, right? Like I was thinking about saving it for 2 extra damage, which I don't think really matters because I don't think I can kill him before he gets to 8 mana. So I know this is like a finality turn type thing. So yeah. So Keeper of the Veil, Mccanter gets a 50-50 there. Because he did play Erratic Raptor. Actually, no, it wasn't a 50-50. Not a 50-50. It's a 1 in 3, right? Raptor. Actually, no. It's a 1 in 3 because he had Raptor and Slasher. So he got a 1 in 3 there. So him complaining about my luck, Purgatos luck, which is a 50-50, and he gets a 1 in 3 here. It's a little bit. It's interesting to say the least. But anyways, I played my Azure Herald here, meaning so if he has another Mccanter, he can't just punch my Dancing Blades and clear it. I'd rather him trade his minions into it, and he gets another Keeper of the Veil. So that's a 1 in 4 Mythron, and he's just going for it. I mean, I guess getting the value of having 2 bodies is not bad, but I would imagine he would rather see the I would imagine he would rather see the Mythron, obviously. I have a feeling that's what he was going for. So he doesn't get it. So thankfully he doesn't get it. I do play the Percutus. He's getting low on life, so just starting playing things in his face. And yeah, to start playing Warbirds. I didn't want to play my Mentor. I think it was too early. Also, he could have had another Slasher, or which he does, another Slasher. And I think I get the healing here. And I think he has to have a Earth Sphere, which he does. Fine by me. I'm okay by this. So because he has 2 Slashers already. Pretty good draws on his end. Bloodgear Alchemist is not the greatest thing in my opinion right now. So right now I just need to start dealing damage to him. And pretty much just play a Arclight Sentinel. Not Arclight Sentinel, a Watchful Sentinel. Playing around Mythron. I can't play around a 3rd Slasher, but I can play around Mythron though. So just getting the damage I need in right now, so hopefully I don't die. Get what he plays here. Ragebinder. So he's effectively healed for 11 so far. And a Grove Lion, that's actually interesting. Pretty high end, so he might not even be running Finality, given his high end curve, which I doubt. He probably is running 1 to 2 copies of Finality anyways. It just doesn't make sense to do that. So I get Array, which not the greatest here, but I can stop it from dispelling the minions I want. I will use my Sentinel to trade into the Slasher. This prevents 4 damage from me, right? Use the Azure Herald, the Ray would trade into it and dispel the Azure Herald. It's interesting that it dispels the OG. And I wanted to, prevent him from hitting me for 9 if he happens to have Saurian Finality, right? And I wanted to get in a little bit closer, create that distance. It looks like he's choosing to ignore the Bloodbound Mentor and try and finish me off next turn. It's clear that he's doing that. Since I can't kill him this turn, I will replace this Warbird. So it's the least impactful minion here, and I actually get a Hearth Sister, which is pretty nice. That's my first Hearth Sister, so pulling it was less than 1 in 8 chance. So I happily take those odds, and I can just sufficiently body block so I don't lose to Mythron plus Punch, right? If he wants to do that, if he wants to play Mythron, he'll have to back off, which means I can win on Warbirds, which I think is great. And I got another Thunderhorn and an Aspect of Shimzar, so I think I'm in a driver's seat for whatever big minion he decides to play, right? So, and yeah, he draws his he draws his 3rd Lava Slasher. So, complaining about RNG, I don't know why I keep bringing it up, but it was just really apparent that it was like, you won on RNG. And I was like, dude, you drew 3 Lava Slashers and got some pretty low odd Mythron and whatnot. So anyways, there's an easy lethal here. Got my Warbirds, and yeah, I don't even need to use Aspect of Shimzar. So that's game 2, I think. Game 2. So the healing from Purgatos actually won us the game there. So that's pretty fortunate. And I think that's the RNG he was getting mad at. And I was like, that's a 50-50. And if you didn't get any of the, positive RNG for yourself, we probably wouldn't have been in that situation anyway. So, yeah, who's to say? Anywho, let's look at the second game, or my second game. Starhorny. I think he was playing Zaran, because that's actually a very uphill battle for this type of list, but we do have the tools to deal with it. Double Thunderhorn, I'm keeping it because they're just very good against, not very good, but they're good against Zaran. I don't need the Spelljammer either, so the keys to winning this match would be EMPs and Thunderhorn. So no turn 1 play for me, even though I think I have 10 or 11 2-drops. But can't go wrong with a turn 1 Frigid Corona. Nothing's more triggering than that, right? So gotta play it. So you play Scintilla. I'm fine with that. For me, it's just an easy Bloodbound Mentor, threaten both tiles, because if I take both tiles, it means I can play Thunderhorn, Shimzar, right? I get rid of the Cryptographer. Actually, no, I don't. Never mind. I guess the reasoning why I kept it was if you had something like Golden Vitriol, I wanted to have like a decent answer for that. So, and he actually uses a Tempest and a Lucent Beam to get rid of my Mentor. So he just spent 4 mana and Potential Burst to remove that. So I happily take that trade any day of the week. So got another Bloodbound Mentor, which I think is fantastic. And there's no reason for me to get in close, especially when he has this available, and he's threatening mana, which means I could play into a really big Sunriser. So I'm just going to back off, take my time, try and get to that late game, force him to use as many resources as possible, and hopefully we can use this EMP. And if he gives us this tile, the reason why I didn't want to play my Thunderhorn here is if he had Sunbloom, he won't Sunbloom the tile. So as you can see, this is I don't need the I don't need the Spelljammer. I have a full hand, so I'm just going to Aspect of Shimzar and clear his board, deal 4 face damage, and create distance. Right, play around Holy Immolation. So if he wants to use Holy Immolation, it has to be on these guys right here. Which he can easily do. He just needs the Holy Immolation in hand. Looks like he takes 8 damage, so that's a pretty good value from Thunderhorn, right? Cleared his board and dealt 8 damage, so that was a pretty strong Thunderhorn right there. And I expected him to use Trinity Oath this turn, since he was down on cards. This was a perfect time to use it. So actually playing the Sunwist actually caused him to mill a card. So he milled an Azure Herald, so that's healing he doesn't have, so he only has 2 left in his deck. And I just decided to start developing a Bloodbound Mentor and start dealing some damage, right? There's a lot of things he has to deal with, and the Sunriser is not going to deal with any of them. Or all of them, excuse me. He can deal with one of them, but not all. And there's the Sunriser. This is a very weak Sunriser, so I'm really happy to see that go right now. So the Sunrise Cleric actually sucks, though. That's a very good Sunrise Cleric, which means you can just camp on that tile, and our uphill battle begins, right? So he had the 2 healing procs, which was to be expected. I draw Dancing Blades, which is nice, I guess. But we can easily clear that Sunrise Cleric with a Hearth Sister. And I think now would just be a good time to develop a EMP. And it looks like he has the claim, so he's moving his Healing Mystic out of the way, which is actually pretty good to keep distance away from us. And if he wants to play claim, that means this Thunderhorn's going to stay alive. And he has to move off this tile, right, to clear it. So that's exactly what he's doing, and he's playing into my plan perfectly, actually. So this Thunderhorn was able to trade and deal 4 face damage, despite not having its ability, which I think is fantastic. I do replace Warbird, because I don't think I need it at this point in time. I think the Blood Shield Alchemist is a little bit better should I ignore the Healing Mystic, right? So that's exactly what I do. It's all the way over there. You can't take advantage of Afterglow healing it unless he has like another Tempest, right? But if that's the case, I don't really care about it. He still has to deal with this Bloodbound Mentor. So that's actually my third Bloodbound Mentor, so that's pretty lucky. I guess it's it makes up for my opponent drawing 3 Lava Slashes last game, so he's down to 8 health, so I can start kicking into Overdrive, right? And he actually plays a very, very weak Holy Immolation just to clear. What did he do? He spent 6 mana in a Holy Immolation. So, so he's wasted so much damage just to clear 1 minion, and most of them were 2-card combos, or even 3-card combos, just to deal with 1 minion. 1 minion, right? And it's really paying dividends here. So for me, this is an easy Bloodtear Alchemist plus Dancing Blades. It's also part of the reason why I wanted to keep the Bloodtear Alchemist in hand, is to kill any 4-drop, not 4-drop, but well, 4-drops too, but any 4 health minion he decides to play. And surrounding him with all these minions right here means that potentially we can kill him next turn, right? Yeah, Zoran doing what Zoran does best, high rolling and doing Trinity Oath things. So yeah, Tempest and Lucent Beam to clear. My Dancing Blades, so that was the clear he needed. But yeah, he's lost all or most of his burst already, right? He's used 2 Lucent Beams and 2 Tempests, 2 Trinity Oaths, so I'm happy to do that. So I get rid of the Sunrise Cleric. Yes, I know I can give him another tile, but I don't want to give him distance, right? So I just need to keep him low and find that healing. Also remember, he did mill 1 Azure Herald, so that's 1 less point of healing he has in his deck. So I'm free just to try and just push as much damage as I can, right? Get the bodies on board. So leave him at 2, which means if I can draw some another Cryptographer, another Hailstone, I can kill him, right? He actually uses a very inefficient Holy Immolation right now. So this is what I was saying earlier, why I like Hailstone Prison. Because Hot Sister would not be lethal right here, right? So I'm just going to stun him. Yeah, he's going to be on the tile, but it's not great. So I replaced my Azure Herald. I don't need it. I need damage, right? So it's unfortunate that I played, I drew EMP first, because I'd rather EMP and then Frigid Corona, but yeah, oh well. And I guess that forces him off the tile, right? Because if he stays there, he can just die. He needs his second claim, right? And I think he got it. There it is. Yeah. He got it, of course, but oh well. Again, Heart Sister will not let me kill him, right? Yeah, Heart Sister won't let me kill him, unless I had like double scoring, but I'm just going to play a bunch of minions. Keep the Heart Sister. And clear the Sunrise Cleric, so you can't use it to body block it anyway, so we're leaving him at 1. This body blocks here, so he can't punch me and get some heal procs off with his Healing Mystics. The only way he can kill it is either to use his face, or that makes him lose if he uses his face, but if he uses the Healing Mystic, it dies, which is actually pretty good. And there's the Sunriser. And I forget what sort of healing he has. And there you go, what I say when we replace our Warbird. We got it back. That's really going to pay us dividends here. So he needs more than just 3 healing in order to survive, because we have drawn our Warbird. Unless he had another. Nope. Sunrise Cleric. Oh, she does not. It's actually the rock that he got from the aspect of Shamzar. From the fog, actually. But, yeah, double Warbird just wins here, so that's game 2, I think, for me at least. Yeah, so 4 more for a victory, or to win the week rather. Yeah, going pretty well. Maybe we can go a little bit faster. Star Horny wants to go up again. I think this time he plays Cassava. And yep, To be honest, as you'll see in this list, I think he should have gone with this list second, actually, over the Zoran list. I think this list had a better chance of winning against Faye than the Zoran list. Not by like a significant margin, but a little bit, right? So, I think he just leads off with something here. Obviously, he leads off with something, but he leads off with Healing Mystic. That's fine. There's no point in playing Cryptographer plus Hailstone Prison, because if he decides to play a 4-drop, I'll just bounce that back next turn. And I'll just use my Warbird to be mana efficient. I don't have a Bloodbound Mentor in hand. I like the 2 Dancing Blades. You know, they're very high tempo against a Vizian, and it forces them to use things like Ping Punish, which means he has less answers for, you know, Burgatos and EMP. So that's why I like to keep both. So I think I have a pretty good hand here. And there's Thunderhorn, and this is what I said earlier, why Dancing Blades is a little bit, has an edge on Lava Slasher in certain scenarios, and this is one of them, right? So we ramp into 5, we punch that, and we play our Dancing Blade. So we got rid of his 4/5 Thunderhorn, and developed a 4/6 of our own, so that's some pretty good value there. So the way I win this list is try and win before 8 mana, right? 8-9 mana. If he happens to be like an obliterate list, I need to get him low so I can start pressuring him in the late game. So I decide to punch, and he uses the Spectral Blade, and I think he clears. Takes the mana away from me, which is a good play. Even though he's losing out on 1 mana, it's fine. It was an acceptable play, right? Stays underneath me, and he has an Azure Herald, so he heals up. So that's pretty good value. I do replace the Hailstone. I figured I would. I don't need it since you have already cleared a big drop already. So, and I decided to play a Moonlit over a Purgatos. The other option was just to clear the Azure Herald with Dancing Blades, but I'd rather get rid of the item for now. Because next turn, if I do play Dancing Blades and he does like Ping Punish or Demonic Lure, this Moonlit will be big. So, so that was my reasoning there. There's a Thunderhorn. We don't have a Thunderhorn of our own, but we do have Purgatos. So we can do a pretty cheeky pseudo aspect of Shimzar plus Purgatos play. So, and I think that's what I do. And I don't punch here. I mean, I could have punched with the Sentinel, meaning that he would have to use his General to punch it in order to clear it. Because if I get the damage one, this 3 damage puts him down to 10. Which may or may not have been correct. I don't know. I think I still stand by my play of not punching with it. Despite what he plays right now, right? Which was a very good Lightbender play, so causing it to change form and then dispelling it, so that was a very good play on his part. So maybe it was correct to punch, right? So seeing a Lightbender, it leads me to think there's 2 things going on. It's either creep or it's Doom. And I think from a previous week, he actually won a game with Doom. He didn't win because of Doom, but he had Doom in the list. And I was a little skeptical about playing my Dancing Blades all the way back here because it's not in his face and he's pretty low. So yeah, so this confirms for me this is a Doom list. Why? Because you wouldn't play Mythron in any sort of a Vizian list because you have a lot of really good 2 to 3 mana, 1 to 3 mana spells, right? Even 0 to 3 mana spells. Darkfire Sacrifice, Fear of Darkness, Demonic Lure, Punish, Ritual Banishing, what's it called? It's a 2 damage spell, and it gets you a battle pet if it dies. I can't think of it, but there's that spell as well, which is, you know, it's not a bad card. Gives you a little bit of card draw, and it's 2 damage, right? It can help you clear a minion. So there's a lot of, you know, decent Abyssian spells that cost 1 to 3 mana, and this just confirms to me, seeing a Mythron, especially you're getting rid of ping too, so this confirms to me that it's Doom. So I need to start, dealing damage, but I need to be wary of my health pool because he could kill me too, right? This is 6 damage right here. Revenant's 12. So after a few more Desolators, I could die. So I need a Aspect of Shimzar or another EMP in order to deal with Desolator spam, right? So I need to be wary. Seeing that he did play Mage War, I just decided to play 2 Mentors and get all the Warbirds in, because I may not have another chance to do so, right? Yep. And I forget what he plays here. I think he plays another Mage Swarm. Yeah, he has the second Mage Swarm, which kind of sucks, and an Azure Herald, which is even a little bit worse. Unfortunately, I can't use Aspect of Shimzar, so throw that back. Try and look for EMP. Don't get it. I could have played around. I decided to move this to play like a defensive minion, so if he decides to punch me, I can just punch it with the Bloodbound Mentor, trade with it. This also means I play around Betrayal. I didn't want to play things to body block. Why? Betrayal would just kill me, right? Because that's 7 damage, he plays a Desolator, I die. Actually, it might even, I don't know what this does. If you use Betrayal and this hits me, I'm not quite sure. I don't know if it will get like a heal for him or a heal or damage for me, right? So he's just going for damage, so he might have like a Revenant in hand, which I can't really. I probably could have played around Necrotic Spear, but I really wanted. I knew it was a Duelyst, so I wanted things in his face, and I wanted to, deal as much damage. So I couldn't really afford to play around Necrotic Spear, if that makes sense. Like I knew it was coming, like it was a definite possibility, but I didn't think I really could afford to do it. So, pretty blind turn for me here because I can't really do anything. So he can start doing Desolator things, and I really need that second EMP because there's the Doom. So he does play it. I do stand by backing off because Revenant after a few Desolator cycles could just kill me, right? So we do draw the EMP, which is nice. The one downside is these Bloodbound Mentors are dispelled. But getting the EMP down is more important, right? He might not even have 3 Mage Sworn. I'm willing to bet he doesn't have 3 Mage Sworn. So me getting the second one I think is just fine and fair, to be honest. We do run 2 in the list, and I have been actively replacing for it all game, so yeah. And there's the Demonic Glare, which is helping in the stalling process, but he's very low. He is very low. Yep, there's the Desolator and the pig. It's interesting that he played this into Warbird. I wouldn't have played it into Warbird, but maybe he was feeling like Chromatic Cold or something, which is understandable. But at that point, you shouldn't play around that, right? So I disagree with him playing this into Warbird. And I didn't think Purgatos was big enough, so I think I placed Purgatos or something. I forget what was right here. I know Spelljammer. And I just play a bunch of things in his face, and I have to go face as well. So since he's so low, I have to look for it. And it's also worth noting I didn't have a Hearth Sister this entire game, I think. Because if I do, I can't play around a second Necrotic Sphere. I need the Hearth Sister, right? So I just play things in his face. And if he happens to deal with them, I need the Hearth Sister as the last case scenario. Otherwise, if he can't deal with these things, these will win, and I don't need Hearth Sister. So it's interesting he punched. Maybe he just conceded. He didn't have the resources in hand to win. So yeah, with just easy punch with our Spelljammer and Warbird. So, yep, good game. Very close one, actually. And, yeah, let's look for the next one. Arctic Life, right? I think. Yeah. So this is Vitruvian. The way we win this is try and get some good momentum with a 4-drop of our own before he can play a 5-mana minion or spell in the likes of Sandswell Reader and Blood of Air. I know how to play this matchup very well. I've seen it way too often on ladder, so I know how to play this light and day, but that isn't just because I know how to play it doesn't mean I can win, right? If my opponent just nut draws me with their fun and interactive cards, I could just easily lose. So yeah, for me, I need to deny the 5-mana play. So I just play the Bloodthier Alchemist here, so if he wants to use the Metallurgist to trade, it trades. This is pretty much the only time I'll be able to get a safe Thunderhorn down, right, without him killing it. And it also threatens this tile, which means if he doesn't play something on the tile, it's mine and I can Dancing Blades. So I think it's a pretty good play for me. So, and that's actually a 3-mana Hailstone Golem, so this is probably a Sirocco list, right? Do replace into Purgatos, which is nice. I do like the EMP for things like Almira Healer, so this is where I think Hailstone Prison comes in pretty big clutch. Aspect of Shimzar could have been okay. It would have done 4 damage to him, or another 4 damage. It would have been better if it was Aspect of Shimzar, but Hailstone Prison was just as good, right? I was able to get that 4/6 off the field for 2 mana, so pretty good trade in my opinion. And I just punch here because if he has Blood of Air, it's just gonna die anyways, so I might as well get the damage in. And he's already down to 15 health, which is fantastic. So we have an 8-point lead on him, plus consecutive Warbirds, right? So, and him using Fallacies is actually great. He plays right into Dancing Blades, and it's interesting he played it there instead of behind him, because Dancing Blades could just kill it. Maybe this isn't horrible positioning, because if I do play my Dancing Blades here, he can just run away and I can't hit him with it unless I have a Hearth Sister. So it's an acceptable position here, but I think this was right behind him was the best play. Maybe he didn't think I would have 5 mana this turn, or he wasn't counting, but that's on him for not being aware. So I get my I get my Dancing Blades down. And the reason why I played here, not here and stayed where I was, is because I didn't want him to get value out of Blood of Air and kill this this Azure Herald, right? So if I left like my Azure Herald like over here or something, I think that's where it was, like in the center tile, Blood of Air would just kill it with a general punch, and I'm not quite ready to get rid of my Azure Herald just yet, right? So because I can use it to trade now. So that's one reason why I kept it alive as it is. And this turn is a pretty easy Purgatos, because I still have my Bloodbound spell next turn, so I could do my my Mentor next turn. I'd rather get the Purgatos down. It'd be more mana efficient, right? This positioning plays around Sandswirl Reader. It does not play around Bone Swarm plus Sandswirl Reader. But at that point, what can you really do, right? But I don't think he's even running Sandswirl Reader. If he's running something like Hailstones, he'd have to cut off a top end or some golems in order to include the Bone Swarm. And then I have to say, this is a really good Sirocco spawn. So again, complaining about me getting fortunate RNG with Purgatos is just a little bit ridiculous in my opinion. Just, I mean, look at these spots. So I might as well get the damage in now. I do get the damage. I was 1 off lethal, I think, if I got the 3 damage. So I decided to go for the nice safe play of Aspect of Shimzar, Purgatos, and Warbird. And if I deal 3 damage to him here, which I think I do get, yeah, it leaves him at 3, so that's pretty fantastic. And I can kill him with Cryptographer or Bloodbound Mentor next turn. It's also worth noting if he had like, I don't know, a healing mystic plus a Azure Herald, he could heal up to over 6 health, which means a bunch of warbirds would kill this Elmira healer and deal 5 face damage and heal him for 5. So it's actually good that he didn't have the extra healing, right? So pretty fortunate there. But as I said, we have easy lethal here. More than enough damage, right? So we have warbird. How much damage do we have? We had 4, 8, I think, 8 damage. Because 2 from 1, 2, then 1, 2 again. Yeah, 8 damage. Which is great. So yeah, 4-0 so far. And yeah, I think my last one is against Icy Fire again. Their last player, because you see I lose, was a different player actually. Played against Zabiel's Magmar list, and Zabiel won that one. So yeah. So not a great opening hand, but these cards are fantastic against Riva in particular, right? So there's no reason for me to play the Blood Tier Alchemist, especially if I know I don't have any 4-mana plays in hand. So there's no reason for me to play them. These will be more valuable in getting rid of things like that have 3 health, not 2 1/4s, right? But Sentinels are going to be fantastic. So this could be like a Dragal mid-range Riva, right? So I got to be wary of that, because this list also runs, I think, Zendo combo as well. So got to be wary of that. But these 2 Basilisks, 3 Basilisks actually, will actually do very, very well against Riva. And he actually develops the Spelljammer, and this is an easy bounce, and we can get actually a full clear here. So this is the power of Blood Tier Alchemist. Actually, it's so good in so many scenarios, right? The reason why I use my Haw Sister right here is I didn't want to have my Sentinel go 2 spaces forward to clear it, meaning he could just punch it with his face and it dies. So I'd rather take, you know, a little bit more damage but develop, you know, a decent board, right? And we have the second Blood Tier Alchemist to deal with his Heartseeker if he decides to play it, which he shouldn't be, because you know. And it's interesting that he's just sacking off his Spelljammer like that. So I actually misclick here, and you'll see. The reason why I traded the 2 damages in, because Gotatsu can just kill it. So I didn't mean to stun him. I meant to stun the Spelljammer, because that means I could just, you know, get this thing close without him having a way to hit it, right? But I do improvise because I do have a Haw Sister in hand, so yeah. And I guess I get some more cards off it, which is actually pretty good for me. And he actually milled, I think, a Killing Edge, if I caught that correctly. I wasn't really looking. And it's actually helping me more than it is him, because he's still drawing the 1 card he would have drawn at the end of the turn, but he's actually milling cards. So he puts the Thunderhorn all the way over there, and actually, no, there's the Killing Edge that gets milled, which is fine by me. And I just decided to trade my Basilisk skin and Haw Sister and kill it with Warbird. And I don't play the Mentor. I don't think it's quite right to play it now. I'd rather play it later, right? I'd rather get the 3rd Moonlight Basilisk down, as that will be more impactful on his plays, right? There's a juxtaposition. And I don't think it's a Killing Edge, because I think Dragal only runs 2 Killing Edges, so I don't think it is a Killing Edge. It's actually an EMP. So correct ordering from his heart, so that's good play. Meaning this Basilisk is a 2/2. So good play on his part. But we can easily deal with it. We don't need the Blood Tier Alchemist. We were looking for damage here. And actually top deck my first aspect of Shimzar, which is about a 1 in 8 chance. So decent odds. And we get it. Deal 4 face damage and just getting close to him. Booze is not a bad pull from the aspect of Shimzar. So I can just start hitting him, really. Because this sets up lethal, right? If we're able to connect with some of these minions. And there's a Spelljammer, so it's interesting how he positions here. He doesn't have an answer, doesn't have like a Phoenix Fire in hand or something to clear the Thunderhorn, so he has to use a Juxtaposition and a Mist Dragon Seal in order to put my Thunderhorn all the way out of reach. But as you can see, this is easy lethal. Regardless of, we can either do lethal with Blood Tier Alchemist or we can do lethal with Mentor. So, yep, so there's 5 damage from our minions here, and we have damage from our general and the warbirds, and yeah, a lot of ways to kill him. Yep, so good game indeed. Pretty fortunate drawing the 3 Blood Tier Alchemists, or excuse me, Moonlit Basilisks, but he did play a bunch of Spelljammers, thus giving me a lot of cards when I was getting low on cards, so that actually hurt him more than it hurt me. It actually helped me. So we did beat Alzifire, so it's currently 5-0. Yeah. And we got the Fae mirror match. It's interesting. I have yet to know whether he's playing a ramp list or mid-range or burn Fae. So entirely dependent on what he plays. This is a Frigid Corona. I don't know why it's just sitting there invisible. And he plays the Primus Fist, so I'm inclined to think it's a aggro list. So I just played my Cryptographer and stunned this. I don't have a way to deal with Thunderhorn, so I stun this as opposed to his general. So I'm happily, trading this off, and if it is aggro, it's important that my health pool is higher than his in order to win. So seeing that I have a full hand, there's no reason to keep the Spelljammer. And I do decide just to play Burgatos and Blood Tier Alchemist on this, so if he decides to punch me, I do kill it with my face. That's nice. And he cannot aspect the Shimzar plus Thunderhorn me, because even with the Mana Tile, he only has 5 mana. So, and I actually heal myself, so I don't win that 50-50 right there. So another reason not to complain on on my Purgatos RNG lock on the other 2 games. So I guess people just don't want to find take blame for shortcomings and whatnot, right? There's nothing wrong with saying is I could have played better, right? And whatnot, because I can definitely say that, right? I could have played better. Like, granted, in that one loss where I lost to 3 Blood of Airs, 2 Sand Swirls, 2 Bone Swarms, and 3 Dream Shapers, there probably would have been times where I could have played better myself. So placing blame is a very easy way out of things, right? To make yourself look good, I guess, or not bad. But it actually makes you look really good if you say, "Oh, I could have done better," right? Because it makes you look like you're looking to improve, right? So, anyways, I decided to keep my Dancing Blades as is, because if I moved it 1 forward closer to him, it would play into Warbird, and he can just trade. He has a lot of ways to trade and deal 4 damage or 2 damage to this Dancing Blade, so I played into Warbird. Unfortunately, I could not play around Thunderhorn aspect of Shimzar, and since I had the second one in hand, I could afford to do so, right? And he uses the Scorn to clear my my Dancing Blades, and that was to be expected, right? The reason why I expected he's probably not running Luminous Charge, or excuse me, Winter's Wake. He might have an Embla as a top end of the aggro list, but not usually. And this is actually why I lost. I actually thought I was in a fantastic position. I could have done a lot of things here, right? I could have developed, instead of playing Aspect of Shimzar Thunderhorn, I think it was better to save it, right? For like next turn, right? So this turn I would play Bloodbound Mentor, Haw Sister, and move back a little bit, play around Aspect of Shimzar, right? So if I play my Bloodbound Mentor right here, Haw Sister, and double Warbird, it clears this, and I develop 2 minions, and I play around Aspect of Shimzar Thunderhorn. But Duelyst Client decides to disconnect me, and yeah, I could have recovered from this turn actually, but I wasn't able to get in still. And when I was able to finally come in, it was a little bit too late, because if I got that play off, he would have been down to 12, and I would have had 2 minions on board, and I had Aspect of Shimzar plus Thunderhorn next turn. I'm not saying I would have won indefinitely, but I would have been in a fantastic position. And I still could have, see, this, I could have had a good turn here. I could have done Aspect of Shimzar, Thunderhorn, or double Warbird, and I could have cleared it out of this situation. But I was too late. When I came back in, I only had probably like 2 to 3 seconds to make a play. So shout out to Duelyst Client. Yeah, I was a little frustrated because I didn't come back into the game with only like 2 to 3 seconds left in, and him BMing me here is a little bit rude in my opinion. Especially since I DC'd for 2 turns in a row. That pretty much won him the game, because I thought I was in a very commanding position with those 2 cards in my hand, or those 2 turn plays that I had. I thought I had a very solid game plan, because I would have been up by 7 health, and I think he would have been at 6 or 8 health, and I would have been at 15. So that was that, and Zabiel just came in and mopped the floor on him the next game, and did a little bit of BM of his own, right, to get a little bit of revenge. And it was a little interesting. It wasn't hostile. It was just salt, right, from their team in Discord. It was like, oh, you got the RNG. It didn't call me anything bad, but you know, just complaining about RNG, yeah, which is understandable. But I thought they got more than their fair share of RNG, to be honest. So we ended up winning that week, and it would have been nice to go 6-0, but Duelyst Client is far better than I am. So it is what it is. This week we'll be using the expansion cards, because I think the expansion comes out this week from what people have been saying and what I've read. So I'll do a analysis on that, and hopefully I can get some more, or revitalize the play ladder again. I actually do need to hit S rank. I think I have like I have 5 days to do so, which is, you know, more than enough time. I'm almost rank 1 anyways. As you can see, I haven't played that much ladder. So, and I think I've only played like 60 something games. I've only lost like a handful of times. Just playing a bunch of different decks, so it's just really not much motivation to play against Vitruvian. 60 to 75% of my games. So yeah. Anyways, more content soon, and hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye, guys.